If you are looking to start or grow your business in 2024, come on in because I'm about to give you some major tea. I'm going to tell you all the things that I wish I would have known when I started to kind of save you a little bit of time. And I'm going to give you a few little tips that I've picked up along the 10 years that I've been in business to help you build a profitable and sustainable business that will serve you well. If this is your first time catching my video, I want to give you a little bit of a backstory on who I am. My name is Kavalin. I am a former school counselor who built a business helping schools and youth-serving organizations provide the best care to children possible. And now I help other coaches, counselors, and consultants create profitable businesses so that they can have the income and the quality of life that they deserve. I started my business almost 10 years ago when I was working full-time as a school counselor with little to no time and even less money. I made lots of mistakes and I was not successful or profitable the first couple of years of my business. Then I made a few pivots and had everything kind of open up for me. Now, almost 10 years later, I not only am able to generate an income that provides for myself and my family full-time, but I'm also able to help other people do the same, which I absolutely love. I'm going to give you a few of the tips that I give to my clients when I am helping them to create a profitable and sustainable business for themselves. Things that I wish I would have known, things that come from experience, things that can be expensive to learn the hard way. So this will hopefully save you some time and some energy. So the first thing that I want to tell you is I want you to go for profit over passion. This is something that was so hard for me to learn because I am a person who felt super passionate about starting the business that I started, but the way that I started it, it was not profitable. And here's what I would suggest you do. Whenever you have an idea for a business, there's always going to be a lot of opportunity within any idea, right? So using myself as an example, I was a school counselor. I knew that I didn't want to do therapy for kids, so I decided I wanted to work with parents. Now, here's the challenge. A lot of times when parents are having trouble with their children, they want their children to see a therapist. They don't necessarily want to participate in therapy. They're not interested in that part of the process. They want to drop the kids off and pick the kids up and have them come back all fixed and happy. I totally get that, but that was not what I wanted to do. As a parent who had learned how my parenting either helped or hindered my children, I realized that a lot of times as parents, things that we do that are very well-meaning can actually make things worse in our home. And so I wanted to support parents so that they felt, compassion and empathy, but also gain these skills. That wasn't necessarily the most profitable path for a lot of reasons. So I had to kind of pivot. I still had the same skills. I still had the same passions, but I just kind of tweaked who my audience was. The most profitable audience for the skills that I had was actually schools and youth-serving organizations. So churches that had children's church or daycare centers, nonprofits that work in, maybe after-school program, schools, public and private, those organizations were more than happy to pay me $250 to $500 to $1,000 an hour to come in and do professional development, work with their staff, and even sometimes create and deliver free workshops to parents. It was a pivot towards the profit, but it's still focused on my passion. Sometimes we come into our businesses and we've kind of got tunnel vision on what we want to do. I want you to open your mind up to all the kind of the width of what is available to you and choose the most profitable path. Now, for me, that didn't mean that I needed to give up on working with parents altogether. It just meant that I had to kind of come at it from a different angle. So for you, you might end up maybe getting a more profitable part of your business going, and then you have the opportunity to do some things pro bono or for a discounted rate. So you still get to work with the people you're most passionate about, but you want to make sure that your business is profitable. The little nugget I sometimes will give, the little kind of tough love that I will give to my clients is you can't help everybody all the time. You got to choose to be a profitable and successful business first, and then you can go back and help more of the people that you want to help. The second thing that I had to learn the absolute hard way is that strategy and systems are how you win the game. Now, when I started my business, I told you I was a mother of four, working full time, just using the margin of my life to build a business. But here's the problem. I had no strategy and I had no systems. So sometimes I was really consistent, and other times I would look up and I hadn't posted on social media or my blog in weeks. And so if you have inconsistent effort, you're gonna have inconsistent income. So I didn't have any systems. I didn't have any strategy. I wasn't tracking my analytics. I didn't know how many clicks would convert to a sale because I didn't even have anything on my website to sell. It was just all very haphazard and it was not successful. The first few years of my business, I made a little bit of money, but it was not profitable. And that path would have never led me to full-time entrepreneurship, which at the time, I didn't know that I really wanted that either. But that became the right path for me, and I'm so glad I made that decision. What I needed though was strategy. I needed to learn how to look at my numbers, pay attention to, how much traffic I was getting and where it was coming from and what they were looking for, when they actually got to my website, when I was getting the most engagement on social media, what problems they said they had, what questions they were asking. There were so many different things that you can look at as a business owner that will give you direction. When you are on your own and you're building a business from scratch, one of the hardest things is that sometimes you're like, I'm not sure which direction to go. I've got lots of options. I've got lots of things that could work. I've got lots of things that could be successful, but I don't have a ton of time. So you want to use the blueprint that your customers are giving you, but you won't know what to do if you haven't looked at your numbers and looked at those analytics. So you want to have a strategy and a system, which kind of leads me to my next point, which is having a mentor is such a cheat code. Over the course of 10 years, I've had several mentors that I have worked with, and I can always tell. If you look at the numbers in my business, you can always tell when I have a mentor because there's always going to be a spike in my income every single time. And it's not just and that's not to say that I'm not making money when I don't have a mentor, but that is to say that working with a mentor is a cheat code. It is giving you an extra set of eyes and ears on your business, your dreams, your ideas. As entrepreneurs, a lot of times we have blind spots, and having a mentor will highlight those blind spots so that you can be more profitable, and sometimes in less time. It will give you suggestions on what products to use, what websites to use, how to structure your business, how to reframe things. It can help you work through limiting beliefs. There's just so much that can come from that. And when you work with a mentor, a lot of times one of the biggest things that they will give you is strategy. The clients that I'm currently working with on the individual side, like I said, are coaches, counselors, and those who want to have consulting businesses. And the thing that I'm giving them time and time again is strategy. I'm helping them to get really clear on who they want to serve, the most profitable people that they want to serve, what system will lead them to generate active leads that are qualified for their business, and how they can take them from a lead to actually a customer or a client, and a strategy and a system that will allow them to do that with whatever time they happen to have. So let's say they only have an hour a day to work on this part of their business or this business that is in addition to the job that they have full time. Well, we got to be really, really clear about what we use that hour for, right? So that is where having a mentor can save you. If you don't have a mentor, a lot of times you are throwing spaghetti at the wall, hoping something will stick. And that time that you are wasting is costing you money. And for some people, it will end up costing you your business because all the time that it is taking you that is not becoming profitable, you start to get worn down. You start to get frustrated. Money starts to be, cash flow starts to be lower. And that is really a stressful thing. And there's a lot of businesses that will close, not because they weren't good people, not because they weren't, providing a good service, but because they didn't have their profit right and they didn't have a strategy for cash flow. Sometimes I'll tell my clients hey, I want you to put this on that credit card that has that cash back. And I want you to take 2 weeks to pay this off, as opposed to depleting your cash reserves, because I want you to have a little bit of money if that check is late coming from the insurance company, right? If you haven't looked at the bigger picture, which sometimes can be hard to do without a mentor, you will miss things. Because I have been there. I have had, low cash months where I'm like, okay, things is a little rocky. I can anticipate that for you and give you the strategies and suggestions to kind of get you over those hurdles. So having a mentor is absolutely a cheat code. If you don't have one, I will give you an opportunity to let me mentor you in the description around this video, but I definitely want you to consider having that to grow your business in a successful way. Now, the lesson I learned is that you can't do everything by yourself. Okay. And the tip that I would give you is hire sooner rather than later. If you can't hire somebody for your business full time, there are lots of ways to get a contractor on Fiverr, or even just somebody that you hire independently. I absolutely hire my kids to do certain things as well, but you cannot do it all by yourself, even if you are a solopreneur. And trying to do everything by yourself will generally make things either fall through the cracks or mean that you can't be as consistent as you need to be. This past year, I had a contract with a national nonprofit where they hired me to create content for them for a podcast. I enjoyed creating all of the content for that podcast, but when I initially started, having this conversation with them, one of the things that I thought is, you know what? I have no desire to buy $1,000 worth of podcasting equipment, and I have even less desire to figure out how to edit a podcast. Editing a YouTube video or a TikTok video is more than enough for me, so I have no desire to do anything extra like that. For a few $100s, I was able to go to a recording studio, have my podcast edited recorded to perfection and edited for me and cut together beautifully for me, in a way that I never had to do anything with it at all. And it was amazing, right? And it was one of those things that, yes, I probably paid, I think maybe $600 or $800 over the course of the year, to have that done for my business, but completely worth every single penny. I also outsourced some of the promotional material for that. But one of the other things that I have done and been really successful with is using templates. So sometimes I will simply just buy a template that either has private label rights or master resale rights that will allow me to not have to reinvent the wheel every time I get ready to sell something or give something to one of my clients. That's another way of actually hiring somebody that doesn't require me to technically hire somebody. And I would definitely encourage you to give that a try, because trying to do everything on your own is going to do one of two things. It's either going to decrease the quality of the work that you provide, or it's going to decrease the quantity of what you provide. And either one of those is actually going to hurt your business and not help. So look at the cheapest way to hire or outsource for your business. Anything that does not require your direct eyes and ears, right? Now, next up, after you outsource those things that doesn't require your eyes and ears, is you want to make sure that those things that do require your eyes and ears, like maybe actually the content creation, you want to look at what can I do now to bring somebody else alongside of me so that I can pay that person to do those things without me having to do everything. That might mean hiring a contractor who can help deliver some of the, speaking engagements or workshops that you hire out to other organizations. That might mean partnering with someone where you can split some of the revenue. But don't think that when we start to think about growth and scaling in our business, it's important to know that the idea that you'll be able to do it all on your own, very slim to none. So get comfortable with, what is it going to require? What's required of me to feel comfortable to hand this to somebody else, right? Is it making sure that you document all of your systems so that when you give something to someone else, you know that you can trust them with that? Is it making sure that you're super clear about, kind of your processes and your signature framework? When you have that clarified, you can train someone on that, and then you can have them watch you do it. You can then watch them do it. Then you can feel a little bit more comfortable with that process. You don't want to get into the habit of building yourself into a box. And if you don't train somebody to do the things that you're doing along with you, that's exactly what will happen. And that will always make your income stagnate, because no matter what, if you're only one person, you have limited what you are able to do. Now, I told you that I love working with coaches, counselors, and consultants. And one of the things that I really encourage them to do is to figure out a way to get what I call sleep coin or get paid while you play, right? You have got to figure out a way to get paid while you sleep, or you will never be financially free. Okay. Now, that may mean that you are investing your profits into the stock market or in some other type of financial investment, or it means that you're getting paid in a passive or a semi-passive way. I have had success with things like courses and, like on-demand coaching, which does not necessarily require my one-on-one attention, because that allows me to duplicate myself, right? So if I create a template that you can buy and customize for your business and sell to your customers or clients, you buy that from me. I don't have to do any work for that. You customize it and sell it to your customers. You don't have to do any extra work for that. So off that one thing, we both are being able to get paid even when we're not working directly. For most of the people that I work with, your primary offer is a service delivery offer, which is going to require your one-on-one time or attention until you hire somebody who can do it with or for you, okay? But you want to have an offer suite. When you have that offer suite, that's going to increase the amount of money that you're able to generate in your business. I did not do that initially in my business. I started with like, hey, I have this, I can come and speak at your event. Then I said, oh, okay, now I've got a book that I can sell you when I come and speak at your event. Then it was like, okay, I can wrap around and do some training for you after this event. Then it became, okay, I have this digital wellness platform where your staff members can get access to these additional resources, anytime that they want it, 24/7. So there's like all these different things that I kind of built in that allow me to have a product suite, so that when I am getting ready to sell to a customer or a client, I can choose from what I want to offer them based upon their individual needs and create a highly profitable business. Here's the thing. I deliver workshops and retreats and events all the time. I record them every time. Once they're recorded, that is my intellectual property, and that is highly, highly valuable if I have a place to deliver that to people, right? So I have that stored on my website where people can purchase access to that from me, which increases my gross revenue, right? Because that is a very profitable product, because there isn't any direct service delivery and I'm paying the same amount for the website no matter how many people use it. It allows me to make more money. That's something I didn't know when I first started. So I really only had one way to get paid, which was hire me to be your coach. Once I pivoted into working B2B, then it was like, okay, hire me to speak at your event, hire me to train your staff, hire me to coach your staff, buy my book, buy my website. And that allowed me to create a business that was really meaty and sustainable, but also supported my quality of life. I'm a single mother. I don't want to spend all of my time working for money. I want to make sure that I'm getting paid on autopilot. And so this is one of those things that allow me to do that. So those are just a few of the things that I have learned after 10 years in business that have helped me to become profitable and successful. And I hope these tips will help you. Like I said, there's going to be some links in the description box around this video that will give you some strategies and support to make sure that your business is up and thriving. And I'd love to be a part of your business growing in 2024 and beyond. So take me up on my offer to have my coaching and mentoring to get your business to where you want it to be.